you're in a war zone and you're caught behind the enemy lines. And that enemy is the enemy that you don't see coming. That enemy is the one that you don't even believe exists. Because it's so obvious. That voice you hear in your head, disguised as your voice, disguised as who you think you are, is what had possessed your body-mind. And that possession is obviously symbolic. I'm not talking about demon possession. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about just taking over, hijacked your higher mind. And now your consciousness is in a feedback loop. It's a lower state of mind. You have very little power, very little volition, very little sense of who you are behind your conditioning, your behaviors, your thoughts, your beliefs. This image that you carry around that you think you are, that you still carry over to your dreams when you go to bed. You are a prisoner of your own mind. You live in a dream house called the mind, and that had become a nightmare in which it's very difficult to wake out of, and you mistake the dream to be real. That is the biggest problem of all. Even in dreams at night, while you're subdued by it, you believe it to be real, and you can't distinguish between reality and fiction. It's only upon waking up from the dream do you realize that it was all just a fabrication, a creation of your subconscious mind. While you were in it, you weren't lucid. And all sorts of things can happen to you because you don't have narrative control. You don't have any power to maneuver it in the way that you would like it because you take what you believe to be real very serious and you don't question the validity of the dream about what's being presented to you in the screen of your mind. And this is the same thing that happens here in your waking dream. You don't question it. The whole approach is to become lucid in your dream while you're asleep at night and your waking dream. The dream you experience with your physical eyes open, day to day. That has to be understood. Because as long as you believe yourself to be this imaginary relative self, you won't escape the prison of the mind. And the ego matrix is there to keep you asleep, subdued, constantly distracted, to waste time so that you don't meet the invitation of the present moment. The doors to your heart are being knocked on all the time, telling you to wake up now, where all of this mind-created stories dissolve and fall away. But every time we refuse to do that, we create the concept of time. Saying no to the invitation of now is what creates time. And once you're trapped in the field of space-time, then there's really no hope for you because you believed in these imaginary boundaries and limitations, and you feel you don't have any power or control to go beyond it. You feel you're stuck into it because everybody around you is in that same predicament, and you just normalize it and think it's just the way things are, and that is false. That is what the ego matrix would like you to believe. The ego matrix, which is an extension of your own egoic mind, wants to keep you asleep and subdued. And your goal is to symbolically die before you die, which means you die to the past, to your egoic control and identification before your so-called physical body dies or becomes unplugged. And this way you escape death. You cheat death, actually. And this is what it means by the death and resurrection motif. Once you die to the past, once you die to the fictional identity, then you realize that there is no death. That you are unborn. You're eternal. You're timeless. Death is a byproduct of time. And time is a byproduct of dreaming. And dreaming is a byproduct of saying no to the invitation of unconditional, universal love in this present moment. Your true self-realization. So get into that mode of recognizing that every day the invitation is there for you to accept yourself as the self right now. And every time you refuse it by getting caught up in these stories and narratives that are generated by the mind to keep you unconscious, you can't experience heaven. You cannot be present. Your thoughts, your feelings would be out of alignment with your true authentic self. And your life would seem chaotic. It would create disharmony, fear, stress, anxiety, powerlessness. It's basically life gone wrong, and it becomes imbalanced because you're putting all of your energy and attention into the dream phenomena. So get into the understanding that you are beyond the personal self. You're beyond the identity that you carry around with you and mistaken yourself to be. As long as you are living a life that you're not, or being what you are not, you're trapped. There's no way around that. You are stuck in the social mold that has been created for you. So get out of that and into the now. And for the mind that says it's easier said than done, then that's just a negative belief or interpretation of the ego to try to get you off of the pathless path to the self. You don't need any time to be who you are. The only requirement is now. Peace and light.